Hello guys, this is Wendy from Language-Enthusiast. I was trying to use this mic this time around, but it turned out that it might be broken. So I'll just put it away. Okay. Okay, today is 29th. Let me check the date. 30th. Okay, 30th. Today is what day? What's the date? What day? Today is martes, means Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday, July 30th, the year 2024, right? Okay, I was not feeling very well this morning and last night, because last night I couldn't fall asleep very soon, okay, for many hours. Like, I went to bed a little later than 8:30. Okay, it was a bit behind already. I was behind already, and I went to bed, but I couldn't fall asleep very soon, and I already knew that that was coming. Okay, that was happening. Okay, I expected that I wouldn't fall asleep very soon, or soon enough, or as soon as I wanted. Okay, but I tried to feel relaxed, because no matter how much I try to make myself fall asleep, it's totally wrong, totally impossible. So I know this. That's why, and I thought that, it happens again or something like that. And okay, and what was I doing back then? I was watching some Spanish language learning YouTube videos. This is my favorite, one of my two favorite channels, which are Spanish language learning. And this channel is very good, because I was talking about this some time ago, but it's both in Spanish and English, okay? And since I want to improve both of my languages, English and Spanish, so the video is spoken both languages, in both languages, okay? And first, the sentence is read. This sentence is read in Spanish at first, and then the translation is read in English. In this way, I totally understand the meaning of the first the sentence, okay? The first time, it's a bit too difficult for me to catch everything and to understand everything. So the English translation read by a native speaker is very helpful. And then after the translation, the same Spanish sentence is read again. And this time, I can understand 100% of the meaning and the structure, okay? Oftentimes, such videos read only one Spanish sentence and the translation in English, and then move on to the next sentence. But I don't like this very much, because by the time I understood the meaning of the sentence by hearing the English translation, I understood the meaning. So I really want to make sure, and I want to listen to the first sentence, okay, the sentence all over again. But most of the time, next new sentence is read. So I don't think it's very effective this way. But on this particular channel, they repeat the same sentence, okay, twice, and I can understand the same sentence the second time much better than the first time. I think this is very effective, and the video, every time the video starts, okay, the narrator says that you don't have to look at the screen, you can just keep listening, okay, and so while doing something else, I can just let it on and let it play, and I can understand everything, and also I can understand the natural way of saying things in English too. Both languages are authentic, and the most, what makes me interested in this channel or their videos the most is that they use maybe voice actors or AI, I don't know which, but the Spanish sentence and the English sentence, both sentences are read by the same person, meaning that they use actors, voice actors, who can speak the both languages fluently. I understand that by listening to their voice, okay, because most of the time I subscribe to many English, Spanish related channels, okay, and most of the time the English Spanish sentence and English translation are read by different people, okay, but on this channel particularly, they use the same person to read the both Spanish and the English sentences, and I think this is the most interesting part for me because I want to be trilingual, right? And so I want to be a person who can speak both English and Spanish fluently in the very near future. So I admire people who can speak these two languages fluently. Okay, so that's why every time I watch videos on that channel, it makes me motivated the most. So that's why I like that channel. And their conversations are easy and simple, but I think I can use all those sentences when I try to express myself in the very near future. I haven't started practicing my spoken Spanish yet, but in the very near future, I will start actually speaking Spanish myself, okay? I think that just doing a lot of input is not enough if you really want to be a decent speaker. And at first, like if you are still a beginner, all you need to do is input. This is correct, I think. But if you are somewhere between the upper beginner and the lower intermediate, I think you should be prepared for speaking the language, okay? But at this level, it's still very difficult for you to make sentences on your own, right? If you try to make your own sentence yourself, most of the time it might sound unnatural, and it takes time for you to make just one sentence, right? So it's not effective. In this case, you need to memorize all those set phrases, chunks, okay, that you can use when you speak. So all those chunks and set phrases, like in the morning, in the afternoon, or something like that at the library, or it'll never change, right? This set phrase, okay? You have to refer to as many of those set phrases and chunks as possible and try to memorize them as they are. And if you make sentences, you can just borrow some good phrases from somewhere which sound authentic enough, and put them one by one to make the whole sentence. But it's still pretty difficult for you, probably. So don't be hasty, I think. And if you are becoming somewhere between upper intermediate, then I think it's time for you to start actually speaking and just output, okay? I think the earlier the better. If you're still a beginner, I don't think you have to be in a hurry, because it's too early for you to make sentences on your own. But if you become as high as intermediate, or somewhere between lower intermediate and higher intermediate, then I think you should start speaking, actually, because there are some things that you never know until you actually start speaking or trying to make sentences on your own. And it's happening to me right now also, because while I'm doing input, all I need to do is just listen to all those English, right? English and Spanish, for example, and it makes me feel that I understand everything, okay? But when I try to speak or try to explain something that I heard a little while ago, okay? For example, when I summarize the story that I've just heard, and then I realize that how little I can do, actually, okay? All those expressions that I thought that I knew was not actually the ones that I can use. So there is a big gap between something that I can understand by listening and something that I can actually use in my conversations or in my speech. So people might feel daunted by this, I guess, the most. When it comes to speaking itself, okay, speaking, you sound like a baby at first, right? Infant, like a small child. Even small native kids can speak much better than you do, right? It makes you adults feel very, dumb, right? Makes you feel dumb, right? I feel the same way, and I've been there, I've done that, so I understand it very much. And even now, I'm struggling to come up with words. And when I'm not in front of a camera, I might be much better, okay? Just I was always thinking about some English sentences that I can use for my next practice, this practice, okay? And I was always creating sentences, constructing sentences in my head, and I'm pretty okay in this case. But once I start speaking like this in front of a camera, probably I feel more nervous, and I really want to make myself sound or look much better than I actually am. And so it makes me feel confused, okay? It makes my brain confused, and I cannot give it my best shot in front of a camera. So it takes time for me to get used to this itself. So that's why I'm doing this right now, right? And okay, the another channel I love at the moment, one of the other channel I love, I have two of my favorite Spanish channels at the moment, and the other channel is no English at all. Okay, first there are 3 sections. Okay, each video consists of 3 sections. The first section, no text. Okay, on the screen, just this picture looking like a speaker. Okay, and English word audio is shown. Okay, and I can hear very fast, natural Spanish sentences. Okay, each section contains about 10 or 15 Spanish sentences. Okay, and they were, those sentences are read with like 2 seconds interval. Okay, in between. Okay, one sentence is read and there is this interval, like 1 or 2 second interval, and then the next sentence is read in Spanish, and this process is repeated until the whole sentences, the entire, all the sentences are finished reading, or all the sentences are read. Okay, and then there's this nasty noise, okay, in between, just before the next section starts. And this is what I don't like very much, because it's like a, I don't know how to explain this in English, but it's like a very annoying sound. Okay, very sharp. Okay, very, and it's just a split second. It's done quickly. It's like it's one tenth of a second or something like that. Okay, it's very short, quick. But for me, I'm very sensitive about all the things like lights, sounds, noises, everything. Okay, I'm very sensitive and I'm very neurotic, so I hate this sound. So this is one of the biggest problems. Okay, there aren't many problems when it comes to all those videos on this particular channel, but this sound, okay, this is very annoying, and I really want to use synonyms, okay, for this word, because I don't want to use the same word over and over again. But when I speak, it's pretty difficult for me to look for different words which have the same meaning, okay, and like annoying and troublesome and very, yeah. Anyway, I don't like this sound, but this sound happens pretty, many times in the whole video. So what I always do is that I video I don't know how to video shot of this entire video, and I put it in my editing app, and I take out all those parts that has this nasty sound. Okay, yeah, someone told me that in order to make my English more spicy and entertaining, I should use synonyms. Okay, synonyms, instead of using the same words and expressions over and over again. Yeah, I will try to do this, and but it's still difficult. But I know that just knowing about this, okay, just being aware of this makes a big difference. So now I pay more attention to all those words which have similar meanings, so that I can use in my future videos. So it's great advice. It was great advice, and I really appreciate that. Okay, thank you very much. And okay, get back to my original story. The second channel, the other of my favorite channel, in the second section, after this nasty noise, are the same sentences are read, okay, but with the longer interval this time, so that I can repeat, okay, we can repeat, viewers can repeat the sentence which has been just read, okay, like 2 or 3 times, okay, and then okay, and the sentences are read, and then here comes word and phrases section, like it's like a column, or I don't know how to call it, like column, on the left side, some English, Spanish expressions are written, and on the right side, English equivalent translation is written, okay, and each one is read one by one, okay, so that we end with a little bit of interval after that, so that we can repeat them like 2 or 3 times, okay, and this is the whole section, and they have 4 sections of this, okay, and so for example, and all the sections are related to each other. For example, the video I was watching yesterday was talking about audio, meaning I hate something, okay, and all those 4 sections are talking about something that the speakers don't like, okay, each speaker doesn't like. So for example, the first person doesn't like waking up early in the morning, okay, the second person doesn't like the morning rush hour, okay, the third person doesn't like going shopping at a shopping mall, okay, the fourth person doesn't like eating fast food, okay, and all those sentences are very simple and easy, and I always okay, and the second section, when second section starts, okay, on the screen there are Spanish word, a Spanish sentence, and the English translation are written, okay, are shown on the screen, so that we can read aloud while reading all those sentences and translations, okay. It's very helpful because I'm a kind of a visual person. I really want to see the text while hearing something, okay. Especially at this stage, it's very, very important for me to understand what is said. Yeah, 100%. Okay, just hearing is not enough, because when you listen to, no matter how much attention you pay to the listening content, there are some sections, some parts that you lose, you don't actually catch. So that's why it's very important for you to make sure that you understand everything, and also you understand which is difficult for you to catch, okay. And this can be troublesome, because it requires your attention, it requires your concentration, so it's quite tiring. So that's why I can't say most people, but there are actually some people who want to avoid this process. But if you really want to be a good listener, you shouldn't avoid this process, because this is crucial, and this is actually helps you. This is what actually helps your listening comprehension improve. So I've known this through my own experience. I've done so much work when it comes to improving my listening, English listening abilities or comprehension. So I really want to apply this to my Spanish learning. So that is why when you learn your second language, your second foreign language, it could be much easier than for you to do than your first foreign language, because you understand what to do and what not to do, what you should do and what you don't have to do. Okay, so it actually makes your language learning process more simpler and easier. And that's why I think that my learning Spanish is somewhat easier than my first foreign language, which is English, because for such a long time I just didn't know what to do. I was just looking for the methods, okay, in the first place, because I didn't know. I had no idea what to do in the first place, so to begin with. So, okay, but I understand, okay, the whole picture now, mostly at this stage, okay, so I can just use this method to my Spanish language learning. Okay, and where was I? Yeah, the second sentence was read, right? And all those sentences are very simple and easy, and in the future I can use each sentence as it is, or because the topics are very something that I'm familiar with, like it's talking about going shopping, and when you shop, what makes you feel troublesome? Like looking for foods that you like. When you go shopping, there are many things happening to you, right? Like you have to wait in a line for the cashier, and you have to look for all the products that you want to buy, and it's such a hassle for you to carry all those bags after shopping, or the price is going up and it makes you worried about your life or something like that, right? And the fourth topic, for example, it was talking about fast food, right? And the speaker said that she doesn't like to have fast food because it's unhealthy and it's costly, and she really loves eating her homemade food, okay, because it's more healthy and it's delicious. And she is also worried about all those artificial things included in all those fast foods, like artificial coloring, artificial flavors, and preservatives and something like that. And when I was listening to the conversation or all those sentences in the particular section which was talking about fast food, I was like, oh gee, I can use all those sentences when I speak Spanish. Okay, and this is very useful, and I can use many chunks, like set phrases, okay, interchangeably, okay, to make different sentences. I use the same, some of those chunks from all those sentences to make totally different sentences, okay? So it's very useful, and still they sound authentic, they sound natural. So this is one of the best materials that I should use for my Spanish learning at the moment, okay? I was just thinking of making a video in which I introduce some of these YouTube videos that I found very useful or interesting to use, and upload it to YouTube so that people who are studying Spanish can watch and can apply to their own language learning. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. And until a little while ago, I thought that doing this kind of thing could be a bit too difficult for me. And it was still back then, about, let's see, several months ago, probably, this idea hit me suddenly. Why not I make a video for people who are studying Spanish so that they can use like all those videos out there in which learners introduce studying materials they love or methods they love or something. Just introduce something or some books or something in their videos, right? And I used to see all those videos, and about several months ago or so, I thought that I might be the one who introduces such things in my own videos. I might be one of them, but the next day, I suddenly felt scared, and I thought that with my English ability, am I enough, or is my English okay enough if people would get interested in my videos or something like that. I wasn't confident enough, but since I've been doing this practice for more than 2 months now, right? Actually, I started this practice a year ago. My first day was August 2nd or 3rd, the year 2023. And on my 100th day, I gave it up. And because I didn't think that my spoken English wasn't getting any better, so I couldn't put up with it any longer. I couldn't put up with myself speaking in English, such awkward English. So I stopped. And for the next 6 months, I didn't do anything in terms of speaking practice. But this time around, spring this year, I started to do it all over again. And at that time is the time when I realized that somehow my overall English skills improved to some extent. And even though I didn't do anything for the last 6 months, all I did was just studied. I was just studying Spanish in my English. That's all. I didn't read any English books. I didn't practice speaking at all. But after 6 months, I realized that I was able to understand English much more. I was able to write English more somehow. Writing in English somehow became easier for me to do, and I wondered why. But this happens, right? This happens when it comes to language learning. You can't expect what will happen because it's happening in your brain silently without knowing it, without you knowing it. So that's why you don't have to feel devastated because tomorrow your next breakthrough might come the next day, right? I don't think you should give up now even if you feel devastated, because just as I said, your next breakthrough might happen in a few days, right? You should be patient enough. You should be patient enough. So that's why enjoying the process is very important, because your goal is the only one you really want to reach. Then the long distance journey until you can reach the goal, the whole process can be disastrous, right? Deplorable, right? So, and you all the entire during the entire journey, you have to feel impatient, which makes you feel unhappy, right? This is totally wrong, and this is totally the waste of time and energy. So that's why you can pick up anything that you are interested in. Anything is okay, and by listening something, by reading something for your input, and then you can just improve your certain skills while you are still enjoying. This is the easiest way. This is the most enjoyable way. So I really want to do this myself. Okay, and back to the story. The second section, right? The third section, right? And so this is the ideal video, but I was, just as I said, I don't like this sound happens many times between each section, this nasty noise. Okay, I don't think the video requires that kind of particular noise to make the video sound very sharp or something, cool or something. I don't think so. When I watch videos, I don't pay much attention to all those super cool editing. Okay, I only want the video to have a good sound and good image, meaning that it's easy to watch and easy to listen. Okay, so that's all. I mean, that's the everything. That's the everything that I want for each video. But this is something that I cannot control myself, because I'm not the one who edits the video, right? So and in order for me to avoid this, I can just as I said in my previous video, I myself can make my own studying material using the original video or something on YouTube, and I just take out all those, or edit out all those unnecessary parts, and put the only important parts, necessary parts together to make the whole one video, and I make it repeat many times, like I let a robot work for me. And this is how I always do to practice my listening practice, right? And not only listening practice, but also repetition. Okay, for my repetition. It's very convenient, so why not you do the same? I edit myself. I mean, I'm an editor. Okay, I have my original main channel where I used to teach from the year 2021 though. Okay, I used to teach how to, or 2020 or 21. Okay, I started instructing, okay, how to sing English songs in in English for Japanese people. Since I'm a music person and I love singing and I love all those good oldies but goodies, okay, like Carpenter songs, Beatles songs, Billy Joel songs, any other fantastic artist songs, okay. But the problem is that it takes time, it takes me time and energy to edit just one video. I think it has taken on my it has taken a toll on my health. Is it okay? It has taken its toll on my health. So that was really bad for my health because that was actually interesting to me. I mean, I loved editing videos. Once I started editing videos, I couldn't stop because it was really interesting to me, exciting to me. It was a very creative work and I love to be creative. But since I don't have confidence, okay, in myself, I really want to be creating in many fields, but since I'm sensitive about myself, sensitive about how people would think about me, when I used to play in a band, I was very sensitive and I was vulnerable, and I always cared about what kind of impression I might be giving to other people around me. So I didn't like ad-lib, or play it by ear. I didn't like playing it by ear because I might fail, right? I might fail while playing, right? It's quite exciting, and so that's why musicians love playing it by ear because it's exciting and it's thrilling, right? Yeah, I understand that, but that's actually the last thing I wanted. Okay, but I really want to be creative. Okay, so that's why I love cooking, because when I cook, I just play it by ear. I don't have any particular recipes or anything. Every time I cook something, the dish I made turns out to be different from the one I cooked the last time or 2 times ago or something like that. And I'm quite enjoying doing this. I mean, every time I cook something, I change the recipe according to the process, and I use different ingredients to make the same thing, and which will turn out to be something different. And I'm quite enjoying this, I don't know, improvising. Okay, so when I cook, I can be as creative as I really want to be, and it can be really refreshing to me and relaxing to me. So that's why I love cooking, and I'm so lucky because my daughter doesn't cook very much, and I love cooking, right? And so I can be the cook, and I always cooks for 2 people, my daughter and for my daughter and I really enjoy this. And while I'm cooking, just as I explained a little while ago, I let the my own studying material, listening material. I edited myself on my iPad and play, or I'm cooking, or I'm washing vegetables, or I'm boiling something, or I'm cutting something, and then I listen to all those things, and unconsciously, okay, not consciously, unconsciously. And I think this process is really, really important for me to make all those phrases, words internalized in my mind, in my brain. So I really need to do some conscious work, conscious listening, conscious reading. Okay, it's very important to understand 100%. But if you do this, it takes time and energy, so you can't do as much, right? So then, for the most part, you can just do it unconsciously, like reading something without checking each word or expressions that you don't know, okay? Or listening to something even though you don't understand 100%. And of course, in this case, it's better for you to use something which is good for your level, something which is neither too difficult or too easy, because if it's too easy, it can be boring, right? You can learn a lot from something really simple and easy for your level. Yeah, this is true, because in this case, you understand more than 100%, right? You can use you can use these phrases when you speak, when you output, okay? So that's why I sometimes try to listen to or watch videos or stories for kids, because it's pretty simple and easy. It's really encouraging to me, okay? Oh, I understand it 100%, okay? I can say the same thing, okay? This makes me feel so encouraged, and and I think that when you learn the most is when you try to do something really simple and easy, like reviewing, okay? I think that your brain is a little bit complicated, okay? The brain, I think, can only do a little bit of work for you. That's what I feel, okay? Meaning that if you try to memorize as much as you want, you cannot make your brain function that way, because it's a little complicated, okay? It's more complicated than you think. So what I always do is that I pick up only one or two at the most from listening to something, this whole story, okay? There are many great, fantastic expressions that I really want to use myself in my speech, here and there, okay? They're ubiquitous, they're everywhere. But if I want to try to use or memorize all those things at one time, it's really difficult for me to make them internalized so that I can use them, all of them, or even a few of them, okay, in my speech or conversations. And I used to repeat the same video over and over again, like 50 times, 100 times, and I thought that it would help me to memorize everything, okay? But it wasn't as effective as I thought it would be, probably because the material was too huge for me at the moment, okay? I should have picked up just one or two good expressions at least, and forget about all others. And I think that's enough. And the next time or other times when you hear the same expressions that were actually used in the whole story somewhere else, then just one time is not enough. But if you have several experiences of this, I mean, you encounter the same expressions that you found very useful for you to use, but you couldn't make them internalized in your mind, in your brain. But when you encounter all those expressions, words, how to say things somewhere else on different occasions, different situations, spoken by different speakers, okay? And then this is when actually all those words you really want to memorize yourself, but you weren't successful, actually begin to be obvious to you, and you start to memorize all those things. So what I want to say here is that it takes time anyway. I really want to repeat the same story over and over again, and I really want to memorize all those good phrases, but I wasn't successful because this is only one occasion. So just repeating the same material 100 times isn't as effective as encounter all those things somewhere many times on various occasions. Is my sentence finished? I don't know. Okay. The longer the sentence is, the more forgetful I become, okay? So that's why I forget the very first sentence. But when you speak, I think the simpler the better, okay? And this is not something that I can do now. I'm doing now. I felt this, okay, when I was listening to an interview I watched on YouTube the other day. Okay, this person named Takashi, he's a Japanese guy, good-looking guy, okay? He has a very famous, his own YouTube channel, Takashi from Japan or something. And I watched the interview the other day, and he was interviewing this elderly person who is from New Zealand, okay? He is living in Hokkaido in Japan now. He moved to Japan when he was still young, okay? After he got married, he and his wife moved to Japan, okay, from New Zealand. It was really rare at the time for someone to move to Japan from New Zealand, okay? So his parents were totally upset about this. But despite that, they decided to come to Japan, and the reason why, I don't know, I forgot, okay? But anyway, he has a grandson who is pretty popular there on YouTube. Okay, I think he's a gay or something. Okay, and he's a very unique guy and very cheerful and a very nice guy. And Okay, and since the elderly person is a grandfather, the grandfather of the person, okay, so that's why this man named Takashi interviewed him, okay, and I used to have my English teacher, one of my English teacher from New Zealand, but his English was quite difficult for me to catch back in, let's see, 1990s, I guess. So I expected that his English, the elderly person, the grandfather's English, would be like that. But on the contrary, okay, I was quite surprised to hear him speaking English because his English is very clear, okay, probably because he has been living in Japan and he has many experiences of teaching English here in Japan, and I think that changed his English to some extent. So that's why he speaks pretty clear English now. But what I was surprised at his English more was that he uses, even though he's a native English speaker, his sentences are pretty short, okay, very terse, okay, very compact, okay, even shorter than the sentences I always use, okay. And I learned a lot from his English, and I realized that that's how we should speak English, okay. I really want to watch the interview again to understand what makes his English so special, so easy to listen, so that I can use his method, his strategy myself, okay. Yeah, he is speaking English very relaxed. Yeah, of course, because English is his mother tongue, right? Yeah, but I've never seen anyone who speaks English in such a relaxing way, or such simple English. We really have to learn the way he speaks English. And I'm gonna put the link of the interview video in the description of this video so you can check it out, okay? Anyway, where was I? Yeah, I have two very favorite, very good Spanish learning videos right now. Yeah, they inspire me so much, and I love learning Spanish, even much more than I used to. And more I learn Spanish now, the more enjoyable my language learning has been becoming, and it's very motivating. Is it okay? I'm very motivated, and I just love the time when I listen to Spanish, when I read something written in Spanish. I just love the language. I don't know why. It's very rhythmic, and it's very cheerful, energetic. Although I often hear that Spanish and Portugal are quite similar, but when I hear Portugal, I can't understand very much because Spanish sounds more clearer, clearer and easier to catch. And Spanish and Japanese are syllable-based languages, meaning that we have same numbers of vowels, like a, I, U, E, O. It's the same, and only one a, okay? When it comes to this vowel a, English has more than several, right? That's why we Japanese have a hard time catching English words and phrases, because we cannot distinguish each difference of the slight differences of the this only one word, one verb, this vowel, okay? I feel paralyzed now, okay? So it's, for us, studying Japanese is really, really challenging, okay? And I chose Spanish to learn so many years ago, though, okay? I started learning Spanish with Chinese, but I don't think that learning more than 2 languages at the same time is a very good thing to do, because language learning takes time, right? If you if you learn more than 2 languages at the same time, you have to manage your time more wisely, right? And you only have to spend, you only can spend half of the time on one language, right? And it actually slows the process of progress of your language learning, of this one language, right? And you have 2 languages at the same level. So it's not very encouraging for you to do, because it takes time, and it takes time for you to realize the progress yourself. I think that you'd better focus on just one language for some time, and until this language becomes good enough, okay, like lower intermediate, then you can start another language. Like my case, like my English is much better than my Spanish, so that's why I can manage to spend my time on both languages. Still, I'm struggling, because I really want to spend more time on Spanish, but I really want to improve my English at this stage, because at this level, the more time I spend and the more focused I am on English, I think that the sooner I can get the results. And this, at this level, like somewhere between upper intermediate and advanced, it's a very crucial point, and you really have to work a lot to move on to the next level, okay? I didn't imagine that just before I became serious about my improving my English last year around this time, okay? I said that I started practicing my speaking sometime around August, right? The beginning of August last year, right? And I continued to do it for the next 100 days or so, right? But before that, about 2 months or so, I was really into studying for the test, okay, which is called step test, first grade, because I've never passed the second round interview test, okay, and I already passed, okay, the first round many years ago. I like the recent one was the test I took the year 2018, okay. At the time, I studied really hard to pass the first round test. Not only just pass the test, but also I really want to get the high score for my reading part, okay. Until then, no matter how hard I studied English, every time I took the test, the same grade, which is the most notoriously difficult, okay, one. It's unnecessarily difficult one. People often say that, but when you're at the advanced level, it's pretty normal that you can read something as difficult as that one, okay, the test reading part, okay. So I don't think in order to pass the first round test, it means that I don't think that it means that you have to study unnecessarily hard, unreasonably hard. I don't think so. If you want to be at that level, the highest level, then you should read as something as difficult as the test, okay, the reading material for the test. But until then, I've never felt satisfied, okay. I had never satisfied with my reading comprehension. I was able to pass the first round test even a few times, but I was just lucky. It was just luck, okay. That's how I felt, because I didn't feel that I was able to understand what all those reading problems, reading questions, reading stories or materials were talking about, okay. When you read something, you can just understand how much you can understand it, how much you are able to understand it, right? But in my case, okay, as for me, I couldn't feel that way at all. I was just reading without knowing what it was actually talking about. And when I read the questions, okay, each reading problem has 4 or 5 questions with four answers, okay, 4 alternatives, okay, 4 answers for you to choose from, okay. You have to pick one of them. So if you're lucky, you can get the right answer, even though you don't understand it, right? But I really wanted to see the scenery that, okay, people who actually can understand the story, of people who have the enough comprehension skills. I already forgot the first part of the sentence, but I wanted to feel the same way. I wanted to see the same scenery, that all those people who can understand all those stories, who have a good English comprehensible skills, can see and can experience, can feel, okay. I really wanted to be like them. So what I did was just trying to do this textbook that I got from Amazon. I got that textbook because someone was talking about this book on his web blog or somewhere. I found the article on the web, on someone's blog, and I thought that this is it, and I got it as soon as possible, the second-hand one, okay. And I did it once, but I didn't understand what this textbook was all about because it was really, really difficult. Okay, that was probably because English sentences are not very simple. Okay, some I don't know how to explain this, but this clouds. Okay, I don't know. English sentence has cloud, right? Cloud is a okay cloud. Short sentence in it, and this sentence can be placed anywhere, literally, and usually, very simple English sentence can be consisted of, the order of such easy sentences are pretty simple. They are not too complicated, but English sentences that are used in those English, reading comprehension test were actually changed. The orders are changed, okay, to make it more complicated, okay. And I learned how to find this while doing the textbook, and doing the textbook only once was not enough, never. And I had to repeat the same one 3 times or so. And the more I did it, the more I began to understand how to solve, okay, how to solve those complicated problems. And then I tried to do some mock test, okay. There are many workbooks, the same style of the problems or test that you take in the real test, okay. And there are several textbooks sold at bookstores and Amazon, so you can get to practice, right? You can get them to practice, and if you can get good scores, then you can get the same amount of scores on the real test, right? And I tried to do such mock tests, and so at first it was still challenging, but the more tests I did on my own at home, at one point things have changed entirely, and I was quite astonished to know that as I read, okay, as I was reading all those long English stories, like those are like articles you can find in English magazines like Time or Newsweek, or even English newspapers that native English speakers read, okay. They are relentless, okay, they are relentless. But when I read the question story, long one, and then when I moved on to the question section, and when I read the question, and when I also read the alternative answers, right? And 3 out of 4, okay, 3 out of 4 are wrong, right? They're so tricky. But when I was reading each answers, as I read them, somehow the right answer, I felt as if the right answer came up, okay, itself. And without just reading or trying to scratch the surface, I was able to understand the right answer back then. by the time I finished the textbook, okay, the very difficult one, three times, and then I gave myself lots of workbook or mock tests, and then finally my reading skills became good enough to understand the right answer right away, and I took the test the year 2018, the first grade step test, the first round written test, and I was able to I managed to pass the first round, okay. I got the very good score for the test. It was really rewarding to me, but there was one thing that I felt a bit disappointing about the first round test that I had passed, I passed, which was that I was with other examinees, and after the test, on our way to the place where we were going to take the test, there were other people who came there to take the same test, but for the different grades. So their grades, the other grades of the same test, they finish earlier than us, the first graders, meaning that we were the ones that were left in the place until the end. So on our way home, I had to ride on a bus. I rode on a bus with other examinees, and we all took the same test, same grade. But I was exhausted after the test, I had to take all my energy, concentration, and everything to do the test, the first round test, which probably took about 1.5 hours, 2 hours. It was such a long time, and I was totally tattered, exhausted, and I was really tired, anyway. But when I saw other examinees, some of them were quite okay. Nothing happened to them. They looked as if nothing had happened to them, and I really envy them, and I couldn't understand them either, I thought that their English level and my English level were completely different. I mean, I've just reached the point where I began to be able to understand and answer all those reading sections, and I barely passed. My English ability was good enough to barely pass the first round test. I got the more grades, more scores than I had expected, thanks to my hard work. Yeah, that is true, but still, I really had to work hard to take the test. So that's why when the test finished, it made me totally tattered, totally exhausted. I couldn't say even a word. I was totally tired to say even a word, and I just wanted to rest, but others looked, I don't know, they could afford to do other things, like they were just relaxed and just I don't know, laid back, okay, in the past, okay. And I wondered what's the difference between them and me, okay. And I think that the ability and stamina is different. I mean, they have lots of stamina, and I don't. Still, I don't. I really had to work really hard. I really had to concentrate on the test, okay. But since their English abilities, the level of the test, the difficulty is pretty normal for them. They usually speak English, they usually use their English, they usually read something difficult, and they have no problem understanding all those difficult materials. And for them, doing something in English is pretty normal, whereas for me, it's still challenging, okay. There's a big difference, okay. There is such a big difference between them and me, and I realized that, and I was sure that I would take the same test again, and with flying color next time. I really want to pass the test with flying color. Is that okay? Flying color, easily, okay. I think this is the real meaning of you have a good command of English, okay. I don't want to sound like I'm a perfectionist or something, but I really admire such people who use English like their second nature, okay. And someone's this TV personality once said, one of the TV programs he was in long time ago, like 10 years ago, and he said something very, very interesting, and it has something to do this, but okay. I forgot the word, but on the bubble, he used this word or expression, which is called on the bubble, and this term is used for economy or economics, okay. It's about things on a very average level. It's neither very high, very too good or too bad, okay. It's around in the middle. Am I being understood? Okay. And he was talking about examinees for prestigious universities in Japan, okay. For such prestigious, very famous, okay, universities, they used to have much more intelligent students, smart students, okay. But nowadays, things are completely different, and even such prestigious, very famous universities have students who are on the average, okay. If they are lucky, they can pass. If they aren't lucky for the day, when they take the test, entrance examination, then they will fail, okay. Depending on the luck, okay, whether they can pass or not depends on their luck, okay. And when I heard him say such a thing, I thought that it was about myself. Like every time I took the step test, first grade, that's the grade I really